So I would like to start this video with a quick overview of the Forms Quote website. This is where you're going to be able to locate the app. Here from the home page, you're going to want to navigate to the eForms Solution Matrix from this tab here, and you'll see the solution matrix that we've come up with. For the Forms Viewer, you're going to want to click on the Qdabra Forms Viewer, and that'll take you to all the details about the app. And if you want to try, you can click the free download button and download right from this website. It is formsquo.com. Here are the support features listed for the pre-beta release from December 2013. You can see there are many controls, formatting, rules, and data connections that were included in the pre-beta release. Some notable functions are the data connections for the SharePoint library submit data connection. Then the beta release of March 2014, we added some support features, checkboxes, improved secondary data source functionality with rules and values that function from the secondary data source, and also our data connections, being able to query from XML files or SharePoint lists and populate data within our form. Also coming soon are the on-load rules, as you'll see from our version 1 release. Our version 1 release, we're looking to add some additional controls such as an enhanced date picker and file attachments, the ability to close the form, implement those form load rules, and filtering for our SharePoint list connections. So I would like to start our FormsViewer Demo today actually in the designer, because this is where all of our testing for our forms goes on. So it's important to make sure the functionality works also from the designer and from where we're going to be viewing the form. And just to hit on a few key features of this form we're demoing today, I'm going to show you a hide show section, and that's important to us because it's going to allow one view with multiple sections. Here I have a one view form with different sections, and you can see at the top there's an employee tab and an expense tab, and each one is going to hide and show different sections of the form in one view. So that's pretty key. Also the ability to auto-populate a date, such as this report date here. You'll see that that's going to gain some information through all of our demos. Repeating structures. Most InfoPath forms are going to have some kind of need for a repeating data, and in this expense report it's going to make sense to enter more than one expense at a time, as well as some other details. And also some drop-down lists. So these drop-down lists are pulling data both from an XML secondary data source as well as a SharePoint list secondary data source. So you can see here in this category, if we click on it and the details, it's selecting from the categories secondary data source and as well as the departments, and I'll get to that a little bit later. The submit functionality is also going to be very important. We want to be able to submit our form to our form library. And also something that's kind of fun and dynamic called dynamic labels, which gives us the ability to switch our labels on our forms. So here we are at our Office 365 site, just in our normal sign-on site, and we're going to go to the admin. So if we click this right-hand corner button and go to SharePoint, it'll bring us to our site collection administration, and there's kind of two ways to get to where to install the app. We can click on apps here, or if you've already made a site collection for your apps, you can click over here. I'm going to click here just to make it easy. I'm going to click on app catalog, and the same will be if you have not created a site collection for your apps. That's where you create it. And now we're going to go to apps for SharePoint. Here's going to be where we quick and easy install, and there's our install already there, and for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to remove it like so. Alright, so now there's no apps, and then I'm going to go ahead and browse to my .app file, and here's where it's going to be very important to make sure that the .txt extension is removed. And if you want to set up your Finder so that you can see the file extensions that will allow you to edit those file extensions. We're going to open, select OK, And you can keep most of the settings that are on this next page unless you really want to change something. All right, just like so, and I'm going to click Save. All right, and there's my app. Now that I'm back at my SharePoint site, I'll navigate to Site Contents here, add an app, and our Forms Viewer shows up right here. We'll click on Forms Viewer, we'll trust it, and you can see that our app is added to our site contents. We'll hit refresh here, and our Forms Viewer is now available. So now that we've kind of seen how that works, I'm going to show you in the browser this form. And so here are a few of those documents. We're going to update that departments list to show you real time. And since staying with the theme of pirates, we're going to say shipmates as our department. And you can see it's added right there. Now we're going to switch to the Forms Viewer app. And in the app, we're going to open a new template. And it's just going to take several seconds to load. And we can be patient. All right, so there you can see, just like our other forms, the UI is very similar, and we have that date auto-populating. So our hide show sections, again, that employee information and manager information is showing. And now we're going to show those expense details and the calculations right there. And if we flip back to our employee in our drop-down, we can see that new selection has been added to our departments list. And we will give it some more information, like so. And an expense. Give that a category. All right, and so our report date is the 19th, and we're going to submit. And there we can see our file has been submitted. We're going to flip back over to our library and refresh. And we can see that that file has been updated. So now we're going to go back to that Forms Viewer, like so, edit our open document, there, and open our existing, like so. So there is all of the data that we were looking for from that first. And just like the other form, that kind of fun functionality, we're going to select that pirate speak language, like so, go back to main, and all of our labels have been updated. And just going back to the designer, so if the list, we can look at our library and our files. So if we select a file, we also have the ability to open a form in the ribbon, which is pretty cool. Now I'm going to show you one last thing in the designer. So how we've kind of given those default values for those labels. And that data is all stored here in our default value labels right here. In our language, you can see we've repeated it in our title, just like that. If we wanted to add another one, we simply right-click and we can add another language above or below. I hope you've enjoyed this demo, and stay tuned for more Forms Viewer updates. What's next? If you want to begin using the Forms Viewer app, simply go to our site, formsquo.com, and follow the instructions earlier in this video to navigate to where the download is located from the Solutions Matrix QJabra Forms Viewer option. From here, you can download the app, and it includes detailed instructions on how to install in an Office 365 environment. The app is free and open source and will be provided free support via email for all of your questions on the app. If you would like to contact us, please send an email to support@qdabra.com.